putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Fellow at the Robert J. Dole Institute of Politics, and I will argue, debate any point with any of the knuckleheads that want to challenge conservatism in any of the things that we've been talking about now. Circular, it's so cyclic, it's sickening, for decades. And of course, the one that we're talking about now is gun control. And every time there's a shooting, we talk about gun control. I'm talking about a shooting like this. There's never a talk of gun control when somebody accosts a regular person. And what about when we find out that that person has an illegal weapon? How many illegal weapons do we have in this country? I would love to see that number. The number of illegal versus legal weapons. And then I'd like to know how many crimes legal guns are involved in versus illegal. And then I'd like to know who is committing these crimes. I'm talking about political ideology. Not just, it was a lady to kill this dude or a dude to kill this, whatever. No. I want to know politics. I want to know color. I want to know all the stats that the left wants to regale us with when they want to get their way. And you all know why I want to know this. Because we know who's committing these crimes. I already know, look, I don't know the numbers, but I will tell you this. The number of guns that are illegally obtained and committed and used in crimes is astronomically bigger than the number of guns that are legal and used in crimes. Legal guns involved in crimes are generally crimes of passion or things like that. People don't, I'm going to go rob a liquor store and take my gun with me, my legally licensed gun. And of course, the reason why I want to know the political affiliation of the person committing the gun crime is because I already know the answer. It's going to be a Democrat. It's going to be a leftist. If they're not registered, if you talk to them, they will tell you, I lean more to the left. If I were to vote, I would vote Democrat. And then I want to know the other stats. I want to know the ethnicity. I want to be able to say to you definitively that the far number of crimes committed with guns are with young black thugs. Now, I'm not trying to condemn young black thugs necessarily. If it turned out it was with Mexican banditos, I'd be okay with that. If it turns out it's with white boys, I'd be okay with that. But let me make you a bet. If they do get you the numbers on gun crimes, who commits them, etc., it will be per capita, maybe outright young black perps. Now, I also want to know gender, because they're talking about, well, we won't know one thing about the gun control issue. It's always going to be men. Okay, maybe so. But what kind of men? I want to know per capita, because if we're going to start dogging men, I believe they're going to have to start dogging black men. And I want to see leftists start dogging black men. See, if it turned out statistics were bad for black men, I'd tell you. And I dog black men. I don't mind dogging black men. Here's the problem. If I dog black men, I'm dogging myself. I happen to be a black man. Now, I don't commit crimes with illegal guns or with legal guns. I, for the most part, don't commit crimes, not anything I know of. So if I'm not committing crimes and I'm dogging black men, I want the problem solved. I don't want to be associated with a group that they go, well, Kevin, your propensity of your group is to commit more crimes. I already know that. That's why I work hard. I should say hard, not to be, it isn't I'm running from black men. It's that I don't want to be associated with a group where they go, he kills cops, he deals drugs, he doesn't take care of his kids. Now, I'm not. None of those things apply to me. I could shut up and just go, whatever. But I don't, because I don't want it to apply to my sons, who happen to be young black men, except for one of them who's a boy, but he'll be a man one day. So let's force these guys. You want to be all statistical, Mr. Government? I would say to Donald Trump, use statistics against the left. They have demagogued statistics in their favor for decades. It's time we come back with this. That's what I say. But let's talk guns for a bit. The hard truth in mass shootings that do occur periodically, and we talk about the, quote, gun epidemic for a while, only 98 deaths in 2016 from, quote, mass shootings. Out of the approximately 34,000 gun deaths that America suffers each year. Now, I don't know how many people die from cancer or high cholesterol or whatever, but I can tell you this, I don't see the left talking about banning, if you serve trans fats. Well, I shouldn't say that they aren't doing that, but they aren't taking a hard enough stance. I bet you more people die from, fat heart disease or heart attacks or whatever than these gun numbers. But here's what's really interesting about the gun deaths, and this is going to put a wrinkle in the whole thing. 2/3 of the 34,000 gun deaths come from suicides. Over 20,000 deaths a year from suicides, not homicides. So you take those 20,000, it's a little bit more, but let's just say 20,000, 14,000 deaths, mostly in Chicago. I'm just kidding, but a lot of them. 14,000 deaths occur at the hands of somebody else, a homicide. So if you look at those numbers, 14,000 deaths from homicides, and then you say that, we go look at those statistics that I mentioned earlier. Who's doing it? What's the political affiliation? And what's the gender? What's the ethnicity of the perp, etc.? That's what we're driving in on, this 14,000 deaths. Now, I asked the question earlier, do you think that Jimmy Kimmel or I think Rosanna Arquette, the other girl, one of those Arquette chicks, she chimed in and say something about the gun. Again, nobody giving any credence to the person behind the weapon. I haven't seen, most of these celebrities are like, they pretended. What are you talking about? It's the gun, man. If he didn't have that gun, he couldn't do it. Yeah, he could. The 20,000 suicides that happened in this country, if they didn't have guns, they'd do something else. Just the facts. Anyway, they said, this is what Bernie Sanders said, and I'll give a quote from him in just a second, but they were trying to get somebody on the left to take on the mantle of gun control. And in this article, they say this: any serious attempt to address gun violence at the source has to address the accessibility of handguns. But what you mostly hear from gun control proponents, even from the farthest left edge of the Democratic Party, are the more politically palatable but narrower policies for a stronger background check system and an assault weapons ban. It's not going to solve the problem of gun violence, not even close. And this person's correct. The overwhelming majority of gun violence, if you will, is in handguns. And it's illegal handguns. They won't add that to it. It's not from legal. And the assault weapons, I've told you guys this for I don't know how long. The number of people killed with assault weapons is so minuscule. More people are killed by hammers. I always use this statistic because it's funny to me. I don't know why it's weird, but it is a weird one. More people are killed in bus accidents by far than in assault weapons. With an assault weapon. It's crazy. It's exponential. It's hundreds versus thousands every year. But you don't hear a single leftist talking about don't ride the bus or how do we improve bus safety? They don't do it. So they say there's an opening for a Democrat willing to ignore the polling data, dismiss the fretting about gun-happy white working-class voters, suffer the wrath of the NRA, stake a claim as a champion of sweeping gun control. But there's no guarantee anyone will want to take it. Yeah, because anybody that would take that position, is going to lose, and rightfully so. See, this is what I want to explain to you folks. People know deep down in their psyche when something is right versus wrong. The left won't touch this. And if we treat every issue like we treat gun control, they'll stop touching those too. This is the most stupid, specious argument amongst a litany of others, but this one's one of the largest.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.